Hello and welcome to episode 9 of the Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast. Ricky Tebrugge with my co-host Ashlie Duft. How are you doing tonight?
Great. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. And I can't believe we're already into May already. This is crazy.
I know. I agree.
This year is going fast.
It is.
Yep.
Very much is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Tonight we're going to cover a few missing persons cases and a couple of unsolved homicide cases. I'm going to look into Tonya Knight's case tonight and cover it. And we're also going to look at the unsolved I70 serial killings. And we're going to start off with one of our missing persons cases, and I'll let you take that one, Ashlie.
Okay. And first of all, we want to thank Caitlin Guthrie. She sponsored the show 2 weeks ago, and she actually bought our fancy microphones we've got here. Yeah. We really appreciate that. So
yes, we do.
Thank you, Caitlin. Okay. Are we ready for Cole? Yep. All right. Cole Daniel Firestein went missing from Leavenworth, Kansas, March 15th, 2019. His age at the time was 24. He would be 25 now, or will be, excuse me. Height is 5'8". He weighs approximately 300 pounds. He has brown hair and brown eyes. Cole went missing from Leavenworth, Kansas. He was last known to be in the Leavenworth area at the time of his I guess we already talked about all that. Good grief. Let's see. Cole could have a scruffy beard and a mustache, or he could be clean shaven. Cole was last known to be wearing a South Pole brand navy blue jacket with red and white stripes on the side and arms, jeans, and may possibly have no shoes on. I have spoken with one of Cole's close friends, and there's really not, there's just not a lot of information about Cole's disappearance. We do know that he was a drug user from time to time. There's just not much to tell. But I do know from his great friend that Cole was, he's a great guy. He's a great family guy. His friend compared him to being the biggest teddy bear ever around. He would give, the shirt off of his back. Cole, if you're out there, or if anyone knows anything, please get a hold of someone to let us know that you're okay. I wish there was more on this case, but there just isn't. I did reach out to Cole's sister, and I have not heard back from her yet, hoping that, maybe we can get a little more information. And if we do, then maybe we can cover Cole's case again. But unfortunately, there's just not much information at all about Cole's case at this moment.
In the research that I've done, I haven't found a lot either. Basically, what I have on the flyer, and as I was mentioning before the show, that I think I may have had contact with a family member when I first did this. I don't remember exactly. It's been quite some time, but hopefully we can get some information generated and some tips out there, maybe find out what happened to him.
I hope so. Yeah, we need to.
And what's the law enforcement contact information for him?
Oh, Leavenworth Police Department, area code 913-651-2260. And Cole's case number is 19-004686. So if anyone knows anything about Cole, there's been speculation, of course. There's a little speculation that Cole was at a party the night that he disappeared. A little speculation that he got injured and a couple acquaintances from the party drove him somewhere. Again, all speculation. We don't know anything. There's just not much out there.
I hope we can find out some more.
I'm hoping. Like I said, if the sister responds back to me, I'm hoping, that maybe we can cover his case again with some
additional information. More.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me know if you do hear from her.
I will. I for
Be
sure will.
interested to hear what she has to say.
Yeah, me too.
And we're moving on to Tonya Dawn Knight. She was reported missing on December 8th, 1996. Initially, it was thought that she was last seen leaving a party, but information that I've uh, recently come into was that she was led to believe that there was going to be a party that night, and it's believed that party was a fabrication and it never happened. And there's never been any witnesses that have ever came forward to say that they remember that night or confirm that there was a party that evening. Two individuals that were identified by investigators known only by the names the mastermind, who is a girlfriend of Tanya's, and the heavy, who was a boy that had a crush on Tanya, are believed to be the ones who led Tanya to believe that there was a party that night. Um, Tanya gravitated to the mastermind because she was kind of a bad girl type, and Tanya wanted that edge by being associated with her. Boys did start gravitating toward Tanya, including one that the mastermind liked, and this led to problems between the two girls. And it's believed that these problems resulted in Tanya's murder. Um, the mastermind dropped Tanya off at a boy's house that night, and the boy was playing video games with a friend. And they really didn't know why Tanya was there. The boy's mom offered to give Tanya a ride home, but Tanya declined and left for home on foot about midnight that night. Along the route from that boy's house to Tanya's house, there was a cemetery, and it's believed that Tanya stopped by the cemetery, um, where she was lured to the rear of the cemetery, and it's believed she was killed there, and then her body was thrown over a chain link fence into a field, where a farmer discovered it while he was plowing his field on June 7th, 1997. And it's also come out at the beginning of the investigation, the mastermind and the heavy were both interviewed by police and gave an appearance that they were concerned about Tanya. Mastermind was even given a polygraph test, which showed signs of heavy deception. The mastermind at one point treated it as if it were kind of fun. Now, neither have been called person of interest or suspects at this point, but investigators feel like that they know more than what they're telling, obviously. Um, so basically, if you have any information regarding Tanya's death, no matter how small you might think it might be, please call the Johnson County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 913-715-5566 or 913-715-5560, or the TIPS hotline at 816-474-8477, and or McDonald investigation. Sorry, he is the private investigator that's really dove into this case and has really been digging up information on her case. His number is 913-541-0237. There is a reward of up to $10,000 being offered for the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for Tanya's death, and a $5,000 reward is being offered for an indictment of the person or persons responsible for her death as well. It was also thought that early on, when she was first reported missing, that she was just a runaway, and law enforcement felt like that she would return in a few days. And I have a hard time with that kind of a conception, with saying, well, these kids are just runaways, they'll come back. That may be true in some cases, but I think that in most juvenile cases, or actually all juvenile cases, I think law enforcement should work from the worst case scenario and work backwards until evidence in their investigation can prove that they were runaways. So look at it like they're an endangered missing, and really investigate to see, are they seriously missing, or are they just a runaway, and don't just automatically assume that they are a runaway. Because
Right.
that's
You're exactly right, Ricky. We have so many runaways as it is, but they're not all runaways.
right. Exactly. And in the comments under this show tonight, I am going to link some videos that I got a lot of this information from, as well as a website from one of the reporters that did one of the videos, where she basically um, put the video that she did is basically the whole video written out, basically.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I'm going to link all that in the comments underneath this show so people can check it out, and
Good.
also hear a lot of what the family had to say. They talked to Tonya's mom and her dad, and you hear what they have to say. And one of them intertwines clips from uh, the current video, as well as showing clips from the original 1997 investigative video, news stories that they did. And it's a lot of good information.
Good. Yeah, I watched that. I watched those earlier. That was good.
Yeah, the one. Hey, Lisa, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, Lisa. Hey, Matt.
How you doing, Matt? Hey, Chris, how are you doing? Always nice to see people watching.
I know.
And I think next we're moving on to, I think, is it John Swartwood? I believe is the next one we're moving on to.
And I know I'm going to not pronounce this county right. I always have a hard time with that. But John Thomas Swartwood went missing from, how do you say that?
Wyandotte.
Okay, thank you. County, Kansas. Went missing December 3rd, 2011. Age at the time of disappearance was 43. He would be 51 years old now. He is 5'7", approximately, well, I guess 175 to 205 pounds. His hair is gray and balding. Eyes are brown. John was last seen wearing a black trench coat and blue jeans. Details and circumstances surrounding John's disappearance are unknown. If you have any information regarding John's disappearance or know of his whereabouts, please call the Kansas City Police Department at 913-573-6052. Again, another one. Absolutely nothing that I can find on John.
Yeah, I couldn't either. I could not either. The only thing I found on him is just that brief little bit of information that I put on the flyer that I got from his nameless profile, but he wasn't listed on KBI. He wasn't listed on the Charlie Project. I couldn't find any media coverage. Nothing.
No, I know. I don't. It's so sad when there's just no information that you can find. I couldn't even find a news article.
I couldn't either. So if there's any family members of John's that may happen to see this or are watching right now, feel free to contact the page and if you can help fill in some blanks for us, that'd be really good.
Yes, please do. Any information, even if you think it's just something small, it might be something that's very relevant. So please contact Ellie, or you can message Ricky's page or my search group page, which is Missing in Kansas, Megan's Voice. Anything will help.
Yeah, just feel free to contact either one of us. Wish we had more on him to be able to share, but unfortunately.
I know, me too.
Okay, and now I believe we're moving on to the I70 Serial Killings, another series of unsolved murders that span 3 states and claim 6 definitely 6 victims, but it's believed there may be more in a 4th state.
Yeah.
These serial killings began on April 8th, 1992 in Indianapolis, Indiana, where an unknown gunman walked into a Payless shoe source in Indianapolis and shot Robin Voldauer. I believe it was in the back of the head. Her body was discovered in the store about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. A small amount of money was missing from the store. From there, the killer went to Wichita, Kansas, went into a location called, it was called the Bridal Shop. I have the full name of the place here in a second. It's called oh my goodness, La Bride d'Elegance. It's on the 4600 block of East Kellogg in Wichita. He claimed 2 victims there. One was 32-year-old Patricia Majors, and the other was 23-year-old Patricia Smith. Their bodies were found in the store about 6:30 that evening. Money was missing from the shop, along with some personal property belonging to one of the victims, and I've never seen anything that revealed from which victim and what the property was. I'm sure they're keeping that pretty close to the vest.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, he went back to Indiana and went into a place called Sylvia's Ceramics. And he shot Michael McCown, 40 years old, in the back of the head. And Michael was his only male victim, and it was initially thought that because the name of the ceramic shop was Sylvia's, and the fact that Michael had long hair and was in a ponytail, and that the shooter was observing from the outside, that he thought it was a female and went in and shot him. So, uh, and then from there, the killer went on May 3rd, 1992, went to St. Charles, Missouri, uh, went into a place called the Boot Village, and where Nancy Kitzmiller, 24, was working, and shot her. And there was some cash missing from that store, not a lot. That was one of the commonalities of these killings too. Was only small amounts of cash were taken. He didn't clean out the register; he only took a little bit. And then from St. Charles on May 7th, 1992, he went to Raytown, where Sarah Blessing was working at a place called the Store of Many Colors, and he shot and killed her. And again, a small amount of money was missing from that register. And from there, it seemed as though the killing stopped. And what linked all these cases together was ballistics. They believed the guns were either an Intertech Scorpion 22 caliber or an Irma Werke model ET22 caliber. The ammunition was described as a CCI brand caliber long rifle with copper clad lead. Also, on these cartridges was found what's called corundum and also a red rouge. The corundum is an industrial abrasive and the rouge is an industrial polish. And so they theorized that the killer may have worked somewhere where they used those substances. And then information that I saw in a video that I watched also stated that the red rouge and corundum were also used by competition shooters to smooth out the cartridges for more accuracy for their shots when they take their shots. So that was the ballistic information linked all those killings together. Then there was some other shootings. Marianne Glasscock, 51, was shot and killed in Emporium Antiques in Fort Worth, Texas, September 25th, 1993. Amy Vest, 22, was shot and killed in a place called Dancer's Closet Dance Apparel in Arlington on November 1st, 1993. And the one survivor of all these shootings was Vicki Webb, 35. She was shot in Alternatives gift shop. The bullet lodged in her spine, and they said she survived because she had an abnormally large spine. They were never able to retrieve the bullet because of its position, and she was paralyzed for a short time. But she, after rehabilitation, she was able to walk and everything again. But she was the only survivor. They were not able to positively link these victims to the others because even though the caliber of bullet was the same, the striations on the bullets didn't match from that gun to the other gun. So they couldn't positively say yes or no that these were linked. One could actually argue that they could be linked. He just may have decided to change guns because maybe the other gun was he figured it was getting too hot and he needed to get rid of, or maybe it become uh, dysfunctional in some way and couldn't use it, so he had to get a different gun.
Right.
Or one could say it was possibly a copycat. I mean, you never know. Could
You never know. Could have been.
Yeah.
Could have been.
And there's been several composite sketches that have been done over the years and released, and the description of the shooter was a white male in his mid-20s to mid-30s. And again, this was in 1992. Today, he'd be closer to mid to late 50s. Physically, he was described as being about 5'7" to 5'9", weighing about 140 to 160 pounds. Again, that was 1992. Slender to medium build, with light brown to dull auburn red hair, cut short, and beard stubble on his face. And I've seen things where they've talked about a couple other serial killers that they thought may be linked, but have never been able to prove it. One was a man named Neil Falls that was a serial killer that primarily preyed on sex workers. It kind of did resemble one of the composites. But they never been able to positively link him. Another serial killer that got brought up was Herb Baumeister. He lived in Indiana, was a serial killer in that area. Um, the victimology for him didn't quite match the I-70 either. His victims were gay men that he picked up in gay bars, even though he was married and had kids. But so that he was never been able to be positively linked. So if
Oh,
anybody has any information, no matter how small you think it might be, you can contact the St. Charles, Missouri Police Department at 636-949-3300 or 1-800-800-3510. Or you can submit information anonymously at 636-949-3333. Or you can send an email to stcharlescrimestoppers.org or text STCPD plus your message to 274-637. If you have any information on the Wichita cases, you can call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-268-4181 or 316-268-4111. There's a lot to cover.
that was a lot.
Yeah.
And so I'm so grateful that Miss Webb survived that horrific, attack.
I am too.
It's unfortunate. And I remember this, as a kid. I remember these cases.
I was actually working, well, it was April of 1993, and is when we get into the next case that, that kind of, I don't know, doesn't really tie in, but matter of fact, we'll go ahead and get into it. Catherine Adams, she went missing from here in Salina, Kansas on April 29th, 1993. She was the Legs Pantyhose distributor here in Salina, and she was last seen at 4:30 that morning on April 29th at Quick Shop convenience store in the 1700 block of West Crawford. She had stopped in to get her morning coffee and newspaper like she always did. And then she went out to a storage facility on Centennial Road, which is right next to I-135, to load up her stock so she could do her rounds for the day. And it was there that she was attacked by somebody and disappeared. Missing persons file or report was filed and everything, but her van at that time was also missing, and her van did turn up the next day abandoned at Russell's Restaurant, which is on the 600 block of West Point, which is right next to I-135 as well. Russell's was closed at that time for remodeling. The van had mud smeared down the sides on it, and there were blood stains on the inside. And there was also blood found on the ground at the storage unit where she was loading her product for the day. There's also evidence that somebody tried to clean up the crime scene, and I believe they even found shell casings out there as well that day. But it's been, it was 1993. It's been quite a long time, almost 28 years since she disappeared. And this is kind of where it gets interesting because I was working at her truck stop on I-70 around that time, and we had a lot of rain that year, and I'm sure that's probably helped tamper investigations right off the bat. Was all the rain that we had that year. We had a lot of flooding in different areas around town that year. And it was around that time, I think it was early May of that year, the police department came out and they dropped off a composite of the I-70 I-35 killer and had us put it up, to help us remember to keep our eyes open for him. And I don't know if they were thinking at that time maybe he might have been, maybe they were looking at him at possibly having something to do with Catherine's disappearance or not, being that where she loaded her stuff up for deliveries that day was by I-135, and the van was recovered by I-135. I know they've looked at other avenues in the investigation over the years too. But
you never know.
Yeah,
You never know.
It's it's a sad deal. It's a case that's been open for a lot of years. I'd really like to see that one get closed.
Right.
I don't know if anybody has any information regarding her disappearance or of her whereabouts. You can call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 or call the Kansas Bureau of Investigation at 1-800-KS-CRIME. I'd really like to see that one get solved. Though, like I said, that year had a lot of heavy rain that year, and if you go on in the photo albums on Kansas Missing and Unsolved, and click on the albums, there's one I did do a specific photo album for Catherine's case, and in there I did put a lot of pictures of the flooding that was going on, and then and around that time, because I took a lot of pictures of the flooding that year, and I did put some in there to show the kind of flooding that we were experiencing. But I do hope we can finally put some closure to this case. Of course, there's always been rumors and stuff over the years, which you really can't pay attention to rumor too much. And I know
Right.
I know Catherine had a daughter. I've never had an opportunity to speak to her. And last I heard, she moved out of Kansas, so I don't even know where she's living at now. But
Oh,
it'd be nice to get some closure for her as well.
absolutely, it would. It
Hopefully
would.
we can
And it
do that
always,
for her.
right. I agree. It always makes you wonder what the motive was, behind behind
Yeah.
any of them.
Right. Yeah, just like the I70 killer. What was his motive? Going into strip malls, into stores, and shooting somebody, and only taking a little bit of money.
Well, yes, not emptying the cash drawers.
Right.
What's what's the point there? What's the motive?
Yeah. And
I don't
just
know.
the route he took. I mean, he went from Indiana to Kansas, back to Indiana, then over to Missouri, and
Mhm.
possibly Texas if they can find a way to link those. Which like I said, don't know if they are or not.
Right.
But I don't know.
Oh, you're
You're
welcome,
welcome,
Wayne.
You're welcome, Wayne. I've been meaning to do it the last several shows, just haven't had a chance to dig
Yes.
into it all
You're
today.
welcome, Jordan.
You're welcome, Jordan. Hopefully we can bring some closure to both Cole's case and Tonya's case.
Absolutely.
You're welcome, Ruth. Thank you. She's saying thank you so much for your dedication.
Thank you,
You're
Ruth.
welcome.
Vane, I'm needing help with my daughter's case.
Yeah.
We would be happy to help you. Just
Yeah.
give us
Private message myself
yeah.
or Ashlie at our pages and give us some background and details, and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, and if you need her help searching for your daughter, I don't know this. We don't obviously know the circumstances, but you can private message my search group page, which is Missing in Kansas, Megan's Voice, or just message Ricky's page, and he'll get that information over to me.
And I get a flyer made and posted pretty quick.
Yes, but please reach out. We're happy to help.
Yes, definitely. So should we go back and
do a recap?
Yeah, do a recap.
Yep. We'll go with Cole first.
Yep.
Okay. Cole Firestein went missing from Leavenworth, Kansas, March 15th, 2019. Age at the time of disappearance, he was 24. He would be 25 years old today. Cole is 5'8" and approximately weighs 300 pounds. He has brown hair and brown eyes. Let's see. Cole could have a scuffy beard and a mustache, or he could be clean shaven. So Cole was last known to be wearing a South Pole brand navy blue jacket with red and white stripes on the side and arms, jeans, and may possibly have no shoes on. If you have any information about Cole's whereabouts or his disappearance, please contact Leavenworth, Kansas Police Department at 913-651-2260. And again, I reached out to Cole's sister, hoping to hear back from her soon. If we do get additional information, then I would like to cover this Cole's case again.
Yeah, definitely. We'll recap Tonya's case here. She was reported missing on December 8th, 1996. She was led to believe that there was going to be a party that night, and it's believed that the party was a fabrication and never happened. And nobody's ever came forward to say that they remember the night or can confirm that there was a party that night. And two individuals identified by investigators, not only by the names the mastermind, who is a girlfriend of Tonya's, and the heavy, who is a boy that had a crush on Tonya, are believed to be the ones that who led Tonya to believe that there was a party that night. Tonya hung around the mastermind because the mastermind was considered a bad girl type, and Tonya wanted that edge. Boys began gravitating to Tonya, including one that the mastermind liked, which led to problems between Tonya and the mastermind. It's believed that these problems ultimately resulted in Tonya being murdered. The mastermind dropped Tonya off at a boy's house that night where the boy was playing video games with a friend, and they didn't really understand why Tonya was even there. The boy's mom offered to give Tonya a ride home, which she declined and left for home on foot about midnight. Along the route from the boy's house to Tanya's house, there was a cemetery. And it's believed that Tanya stopped by the cemetery where she was lured to the rear of the cemetery. And it was believed that she was killed there and her body was thrown over a chain link fence into a field where a farmer discovered it on his in his field while he was plowing on June 7th, 1997. So about almost 6 months later. At the beginning of the investigation, the mastermind and the heavy were both interviewed by police and gave an appearance that they were concerned about Tonya. Their mastermind was even given a polygraph test, which showed signs of heavy deception. The mastermind at one point even treated it as if it were kind of fun, and neither have been called persons of interest or suspects at this point. If you have any information regarding Tanya's case, no matter how small you think it might be, it may be huge to investigators. Please call the Johnson County Sheriff's Office at 913-715-5566 or 913-715-5560 or the TIPS hotline at 816-474-8477 or McDonald Investigations at 913-541-0237. There is a reward of up to $10,000 being offered for the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for Tanya's death, and a $5,000 reward is being offered for an indictment of the person or persons responsible for Tanya's death. So let's help get some closure in that case for Tanya's family. I know her mom and her dad and her brother would all like to see, the person or persons responsible brought to justice in this case. It's been way overdue. Sorry about that. It was one of my dogs.
That's okay. I don't like that because it just sounds like Tonya was set up.
Yeah.
And it just, again, personal opinion, but I don't know it.
Yeah, it does sound like she was set up.
I know.
And it
Very unfortunate.
It sounds like a potential love triangle going wrong. So
I agree. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, it's tragic.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, are we ready for John?
John Swartwood.
Okay, John Swartwood went missing from Wyandotte County, Kansas.
Yep.
I got it right?
Yep, you got it right.
Lived in Kansas almost my whole life. And anyway, went missing December 3rd, 2011. At the time of disappearance, John was 43. He would be 51 years old today. John is 5'7", weighs anywhere from 175 pounds to 205 pounds. He is gray. His hair is gray and balding. He has brown eyes. Mm-hmm. John was last seen wearing a black trench coat and blue jeans. Details and circumstances surrounding John's disappearance are unknown. If you have any information regarding John's disappearance or know of his whereabouts, please call the Kansas City Police Department at 913-573-6052. Right. And again, nothing, not even one news article, which is very disappointing to me. Not one news article about John.
So if there's any family or friends of John's out there that can kind of give us some background on his disappearance that we can add to the flyer, please let us know, and we will definitely do that.
Yes, that and yes, please. If anyone knows anything, I mean, we'd like to take on John's case. So go searching for him. So if anyone knows anything at all, please get a hold of us.
Yes, definitely. Sorry about that. I don't know what's got his attention.
Well, I don't know if it's thundering and lightning in Salina, but it is here.
It might be here. I don't know. It's been kind of raining off and on all day.
Yeah, same
Okay.
here.
Let's see if we can. Here we go back to the I-70 serial killings. These killings began on April 8th, 1992 in Indianapolis. Killer walked into a Payless shoe source there in Indianapolis and shot Robin Foldauer, age 26. Her body was discovered about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and a small amount of money was taken from the store. And then from there, 3 days later, on April 11th, 1992, in Wichita, Kansas, the killer claimed two victims, 32-year-old Patricia Majors and 23-year-old Patricia Smith. They were working at that bridal shop there in Wichita called La Bride d'Elegance at the 4600 block of East Kellogg. Um, they waited for a late arriving customer, and apparently that late arriving customer must have been the killer. I'm not sure. But they were both shot and killed. There was a small amount of money missing from the register again, along with some personal property belonging to one of the victims, and it's not known which victim or what the property is. And like I said, probably keeping that information close to the vest. And next victim was claimed 16 days later on April 27th, 1992, back in Indiana in Terre Haute this time. Michael McCown, 40, was killed in Sylvia's Ceramics. His body was discovered by a customer about 4:15 in the afternoon. He was the only male victim that the killer claimed, and it's believed it was because of the circumstances. One being that the name of the shop was Sylvia's Ceramics, and the other was from behind. He had long hair and a ponytail, and the killer more than likely thought he was a female and went in and shot him. And I know his family doesn't want him to be remembered as a mistaken victim, and I'm not trying to portray him as that, and I apologize if I did. Then the next victim was claimed on May 3rd in St. Charles, Missouri. Nancy Kitzmiller, 24. She was found by customers in the back room of Boot Village. She had been shot, and there was cash missing from the register at that store. And then 4 days later in Raytown, Missouri, Sarah Blessing, age 37, was killed at the store of Many Colors about 6:30 in the evening, and a small amount of money was missing from the register in that store. And that's one common link of all of them, was a small amount of money was missing from the registers. The other thing that linked them all together was ballistics. The two guns that were thought to be the murder weapon was an Intratec Scorpion 22 caliber and a Irma Werke model ET 22 caliber. The ammunition was a CCI brand 22 caliber long rifle with copper clad lead. Also on these bullets was found Conundrum and Red Rouge. The Conundrum is an industrial abrasive, and the Red Rouge is an industrial polish. So it was thought that the killer, worked in an industry where those components were used. And other information that I've seen also states that those components were used on bullets by competitive shooters to streamline the bullets for better accuracy of their shots. Um, there were also, and these are possible I-70 victims, but they've never been able to be positively identified. One was Mary Ann Glasscock, 51. She was shot and killed at Emporium Antiques in Fort Worth, Texas, September 25th, 1993. Amy Vest, 22, Dancer's Closet Dance Apparel Store, Arlington, Texas, November 1st, 1993. And Vicki Webb, 35, she's the one surviving victim. She was shot and killed in Alternatives Gift Shop, Houston, Texas, January 15th, 1994. And they say she survived because she had an abnormally large spinal column, and it did paralyze her for a short time. And she has been able to regain her ability to walk and everything, but they've never been able to retrieve the bullet from where it is lodged in her spine. It's lodged between two vertebrae. Uh, the killer's description, based on composite sketches and descriptions from witnesses, is he's a white male in his mid 20s to 30s, probably closer to mid 30s in 1992. Today, he'd probably be in his mid to late 50s. Physically, he was described to be about 5'7" to 5'9". weighing between 140 to 160 pounds. Again, this was in 1992. Slender to medium build with light brown to dull auburn red hair, cut short, and beard stubble on his face. If you have any additional information in reference to this case, you can contact the St. Charles, Missouri Police Department at 636-949-3300 or 1-800-800-3510. Information can be submitted anonymously at 636-949-3333. You can send an email at www.stcharlescrimestoppers.org or text STCPD plus your message to 274-637. If you have any information on the Wichita cases, you can call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-268-4181 or 316-268-4111. And then the final case was Catherine Adam, who went missing from Salina, Kansas, back on April 29th, 1993. She was 35 when she went missing. She would be 62 now. She was 5'4", 120 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. She was a legs pantyhose distributor here in Salina, and she was last seen at 4:30 in the morning on April 29th at the Quick Shop convenience store, 1700 block of West Crawford in Salina. She was driving a full-size Ford van with the "She Has Legs" written on the sides in blue lettering. She was obviously at Quick Shop, getting her morning coffee and morning paper before she went out to load up. She was attacked while she was loading her merchandise in the van for the day. Bloodstains were found on the ground there with shell casings, and there was evidence that somebody did try to clean up the scene. Her van was found abandoned the next day at Russell's Restaurant in the 600 block of West Point Boulevard. The restaurant at that time was closed for remodeling. The van had blood spattered on the outside, and there was blood soaked on the inside. She's never been heard from again. If anybody has any information regarding Catherine's disappearance, or of her whereabouts, you can call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 or the KBI at 1-800-KS-CRIME or the KBI number that's on screen. And hopefully, no matter how small a piece of information you think it might be, please call them in, because it could be the one thing that could really turn this investigation around and get some closure for Catherine's daughter and her other family members as well.
Mm-hmm.
I really implore anybody and everybody on any of these cases, no matter how small of a piece of information that you think that it might be, it could be huge to investigators. Please call it in.
And to us searchers as well.
Yeah,
they
definitely.
It could definitely give us, just that little piece that we may need. So something too, I forgot to say on Cole's case is that Cole is not registered on NamUs. I noticed. So I know. So we need to, I'll reach out to Jordan. I'm sure
he's listed on KBI though.
What?
He does have a listing on KBI though.
Yes.
That's where I got the center picture to add to his flyer today.
Yeah. I did not find him on NamUs.
No, I didn't either.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know, but we need to
find him there, and I didn't find him on Charlie's project either.
No, I did look on there. So we definitely need to get him on NamUs. Well, on both, but especially NamUs.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. So, just as always, guys, if you have any information, even if you think it's something really small, just please reach out to Kansas Missing and Unsolved, my search group page, which is Missing in Kansas, Megan's Voice. We all work together. We're all just one team here, but
definitely.
But we all kind of do have different roles that we play. So again, if you have any information at all, please reach out to us, to authorities.
Right.
We need to get all of these loved ones home.
Yeah, and if you folks don't feel comfortable with contacting law enforcement, I do have people contact me from time to time, submitting information to me and saying, "Hey, can you submit this information, but keep me anonymous?" And I do that. Matter of fact, I did it today before the show, so I do it.
Yep. And that's wonderful
Yeah,
that they're reaching out. So
yeah,
um,
yeah.
absolutely.
It's
A small
a
tip
small
would
tip.
produce major breakouts.
Yes,
Absolutely.
definitely. I agree with that. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. And it helps in every aspect of the cases. I know just from my position, it really helps on the searching side. Obviously, again, it helps in every aspect, but on the searching side, I'll tell you what, it really helps.
Yeah, it does. And I'm
Yeah.
hoping the information that I relayed earlier this evening before the show will. It's a missing persons case, and I'm just hoping it gets the person found. I really
Mhm.
do.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
That
And
would
I
be
do want
great.
to put it. I want to throw an update out there. I didn't send the flyer to Derek to put up, but anybody and everybody that's been following the Jesse Dale Young case, he was located
Yes.
safe today.
Yes.
Goodness,
I know.
really
That
worried
warmed my
about that.
heart.
I was worried about that, especially after I read that there was a lake nearby where they live at, and I was like, "Oh my
I know.
goodness."
I know, me too.
I was like, I hope he didn't wander that way and by chance fall in or something. But
I know.
from what
No.
I saw, they found him in like a heavily treed area. There was a lot of trees. He was within a bunch of trees, I guess. And
Mm-hmm.
aside from some scrapes and scratches, he was all right. But he was taken to the hospital to be checked out to make
Yeah.
sure.
Very glad that baby is
Yeah,
home safe and sound.
me too. Me too. I had
Yeah.
a lot of people commenting and messaging me saying, "Is that Salina, Kansas, or Salina,
I know.
Oklahoma?" I said, "No, it's Oklahoma."
Yeah. I did too. On my search group page, I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, Salina, Oklahoma. I researched it heavily before I posted the flyer to make sure I had it right.
Yes. Yep. I know. I'm very grateful that baby's home
But I
safe.
am, yes, I'm glad he's. I guess this isn't the first time he's wandered off from what I was reading. So
Yeah.
hopefully they can do something to prevent that again. Hopefully, I
Uh-huh.
mean, just to be able to pull up in Crocs. I mean,
I know. I know it.
it hasn't been
Scared.
extremely cold, but the nights have been a little chilly.
They have been.
So
Yeah, the last few
mhm.
nights have been cold, scared, hungry. I
Oh,
mean,
I'm sure he was.
absolutely. Yeah.
I'm sure he was. I
So
even saw a picture that somebody posted of somebody holding the little guy after they found him. So
I saw that.
did
Yep.
you? It
I
was
saw
good
that
to see.
too.
That
Yes.
was good to see.
Does anybody have requests for cases that we cover here in the next few weeks or so?
Yeah, definitely.
Just comment if you do.
Please do.
And again, we want to give a special shout out to Caitlin Guthrie. She did pay for, she sponsored the show 2 weeks ago and
Yeah.
got these awesome microphones for us.
Yeah.
So hopefully
Hopefully,
we don't have any more technical difficulties. This is the
right.
first night.
And hopefully we sound really good.
I know, right? I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully we do.
Yeah. And thank you to all you guys for continue supporting us and keep
And I was
those
a little
tips
nervous
coming.
doing this show to start off with, and because when he first brought it up to me, I was like, yeah, so let's give it a try. But
Yeah.
it's been really positively received, and I mean, I think we're hitting 5,000 to 7,000 views a week on these shows. So
Yeah, we're really reaching a lot of people, which is a great
yeah,
thing. I know that
yeah,
we at least we have at least received our search group page has at least received one at least one tip per week. So
yeah,
one is better than none. So keep
yeah,
them coming and
and remember, these shows are seen and heard on every podcast format, and I get them up on our YouTube channel as well, so you can rewatch them there, and you can rewatch them on this page.
yes,
Yeah,
yep. And even if you have a tip about a case that we maybe didn't cover in the show, and you just think of a little something, please don't
yeah,
hesitate to reach out.
definitely.
Yep. Oh, hey, I want to give a special shout out to all the moms out there. Happy Mother's Day this
Oh,
Sunday.
yeah, happy Mother's Day, because we won't be on it again until Tuesday.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, if you have any suggestions for next week's show, put them in the comments, and I'll jot them down and start
Yep.
working on them.
Yep. I was looking at my notes from last week. I think we had I'm hoping this is a part of the notes from last week, at least. Sean Hornbeck. I don't know if that's a part of that or not, or I don't know if that. I don't know if that is part of something else I was taking notes on, and my notes were together. I don't know.
That might be something else because the notes I have from last week was John Swartwood, Tonya Knight, Catherine Adam, and Cole Firestein.
Okay. Well, then my notes may be running together. Who knows? I was going to do a little research when we got off here and make sure.
Right. But yeah, I'm glad we got all those covered. I decided to do the I70 serial killings too because of the two Kansas cases and the fact that it's been 28 years since all that's happened, and you know, it's scary to think that somebody could still potentially be out there that committed these murders that hadn't been caught.
I know.
I mean, being that they've stopped, I mean, he could have been caught for something else. He could have died in some form or fashion somewhere along the way. I mean,
right.
Or he could still be out there. It's hard to say.
I know.
I mean, I know they say serial killers don't necessarily stop killing, but that's not always the case. I mean, if you look at, you know, the BTK case, he stopped killing for many, many, many years.
He did.
Before he resurfaced and eventually was caught. So
yes. Yep.
You know.
That's right. Speaking of that case, I haven't heard about that case in a while.
Right. I've actually followed his daughter on Twitter, and we've talked a couple times.
Really?
Yeah. Her and her husband, they used to live in Michigan with their kids, and now they live in Florida.
Okay.
Yep. I actually have an autographed copy of her book that she wrote too.
I was just going to ask you, didn't she write a book?
Yeah, I've got an autographed copy of it that I've had and I've read and stuff like that. Yeah.
I need to get one. It'd be and very interesting read, I'm sure.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
There's another serial killings case that I just learned about today. I can't remember the guy's name, but they're apparently they're looking at him for some stuff here in Kansas too. I'll have to shoot you the link to that so you can read it. But
okay.
But yeah, he's a truck driver, so so I think he's responsible for women's deaths all over the place. So,
oh no.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, another truck driver serial killer.
Wow.
I've read about a few of those over the years.
Me too.
Read about one that was up in the northeast part of the country. They went from like Pennsylvania down the East Coast. I think down to South Carolina, I think it was.
Wow.
Yeah. But anyhow.
Oh boy.
Thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Hopefully we can generate some leads and information and some tips on these cases and get these investigators going in a different direction and bring these cases to some closure, hopefully.
Yes, that would be great. Yeah. Thank you for your support, everyone. And
thank you, everybody.
Those tips in if you have any.
Definitely. And see everybody on Tuesday night at 9:00. And stay safe and be careful out there and have a good night.
Well, I don't think it, I thought it, that's different. I said what I said and I meant it, or lamented. Words given weight without thought in a person, the way that I talk and the way that I ought to be able to pause and to say that the fault can be placed on my arms. To this playful assault, to disgrace in this arm. Pray for the day they could wait for the calm. You can't control the storm, only weather it. Whether it's 5 weeks and 5 days of rain sideways, or scorched earth, search for death or water left with all the thorns, with the petals gone.